Hi everybody. In this video I want to walk you through one of the tracks I made for a video that I recently put out on YouTube. The video itself is actually currently not watchable. It is about sort of live action remakes, and one of the main things I talk about is the new live action Avatar: The Last Airbender series. In the video I ended up using some clips from that series and the original animated series to sort of talk about my points, and that's currently being reviewed for fair use. So you can't watch the video, but it is finished, and hopefully it'll be out soon. But like most of my videos, I tried to make some background music for them, and one of the tracks was very heavily inspired by the Avatar original series music, specifically the ending credits, so I wanted to walk you through how I made that. Okay, so here we are in the Logic session, and you can see it's a pretty basic bunch of tracks together. It's not super, dense or anything. Total of 16 tracks, and I'm just going to sort of walk you through how I made it. But first, let's hear what it sounds like all the way through. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. I think it sounds pretty good. If you know the show, you can definitely see the inspiration of the percussion track that plays at the end of the show. So let's walk into it. The first thing I started with were the toms and cymbals. These were pretty sure orchestral percussion from Nucleus, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we got floor toms and cymbals from Nucleus, and that provided the bass groove of what's happening. So pretty standard, but very cinematic sounding. It also sort of set the atmosphere for what the reverbs were going to sound like, what the room was going to sound like. So after that, I started playing around with some other things. All these were sort of just general percussion layers that I kept adding in. So this is a hand drum. Sort of a cajon type sound, and that became the real thump kick sound of the whole track, and it really made it sound a lot bigger, which was cool. These other tracks, tambourine, and we have another hand drum. So listening to the original, the rhythms for each individual instrument were not super complicated, but together they sort of interlocked in fun ways. So that's what I tried to replicate here in this, and then I'll go over some mixing things I did later. But that's most of the percussion. We have a few more hand drums. These specifically were panned left and right, just to add some variety to the ending section. It's just the beginning again, but I wanted something else happening. Yeah, so they're not playing the exact same rhythms either. I just sort of played something on the keyboard and then synced it up, so they sound different, which is cool. So yeah, and then probably my most favorite part were the voices. I recorded all these vocals and then panned them hard left, hard right, and in the center, and it is just nonsense syllables, guttural sort of sounds. So pretty silly by themselves, but it definitely added an air of humanness to all the virtual percussion. So like I said, that's most of the tracks. Going into the mixing, not a ton was going on. Like I said, this is for a video, so it's specifically background music, and I feel that it's not that I don't care about these tracks, but I feel less pressure to make them polished and perfect like some other things. So everything got EQ'd, pretty basic, just filter sweeping, making sure that the low end is where it needs to be on all the tracks. You can see. So all of them pretty much have some sort of subtractive EQ happening. I really don't tend to add things in when I do EQ. Let's see, a couple compressors on some things. The main instrument is the flute. So that I for sure wanted to bring forward in the mix, and I found that Slate Digital's virtual mix rack is really good for adding authentic saturation, like because they emulate analog consoles. So I love this drive, and this compressor just really worked in this context for me. I liked it a lot. Other thing for this hand drum I talked about earlier, just to add some space, I have this plugin, BX Solo, and it's basically just a widener plugin. So it's still panned down the center, but it's sort of widened out to a little left and right without actually panning it, which I think adds a really nice effect, especially when you're comparing it to the other drums. Again, adding that feel of everything in the same room together was really important to me. For the vocals, again, not a whole lot going on. Sweeps here, I didn't want them to be super in the front, so I took out some high end, took out some low end, so it's not muddy. This is the only thing that I actually recorded myself to, so it's in a room, so there's a lot of imperfections with the recording compared to these perfectly sampled instruments. And then a compressor just to make sure that no one ha or he is any louder than any other one. You're right, they're prominent, but they're not the main focus. So that's what I was going for. Then for the reverb track, I do an auxiliary track. So I will make a track, and what I just showed was the EQ for it. So the reverb is only affecting these frequencies, which I think keeps it really clean. I drop my reverb plugin, which is the Soundtoys little plate. Very easy to use, very nice looking interface, and it sounds great. I really like things with a lot of early reflection sounds that stay for a long time, and this did the job. And then I send that signal to all the tracks, and it's pretty evenly distributed. So if I play just the reverb, again, just sort of adding to that idea of this was a real ensemble in a real room together, right? So then I go to the stereo output, and this is where my more or less mastering comes in. You can see I use the VSX headphones. I have that turned off so you can hear authentically what it sounds like, but I love mixing in that. I haven't had them too long, but I really like them. A lot of standard stuff in EQ, again, really just cutting out that low end. I want it to be a super clean track. It's also going over dialogue, so it can be a little on the thinner side. Compressor, I really like FabFilter stuff. It's very easy to use. I start with a preset normally and then sort of tweak from there. I have Soothe 2, which is really subtle. I'm going to be honest, a lot of the times I don't even hear the difference right away, but it's just the ability to level things out in such a meticulous way I really like. And the interface is gorgeous. I love throwing this on just to look at it sometimes. Decapitator, my go-to saturation. I love this thing, and this setting is pretty much what I always have on it. Sometimes I'll brighten the tone just a little bit over here, but adds so much to the tracks. Another compressor just to even out everything a little farther, especially with this percussion. I want transients to really fit in with everything else. That's why it's such a fast attack time. And then we ended off with a limiter. So I will, and even then you can see it's not even doing that much because of all the other things. So I'll turn all this off and you can hear what it sounds like originally. So yeah, it just adds a lot of depth, a lot of polish to it, and that's the finished track. Thanks for watching this breakdown. I'm recently getting into the sync music industry, so I've been making a ton of tracks like this. High effort, but production is very quick, and it's been a ton of fun. So if you have any comments, if you like the song, let me know. If you liked the breakdown, if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and whenever the original video is available to watch, it'll be somewhere on the screen right now. So thanks so much. See you in the next one.